Alright, meeting notice. This meeting notice was submitted to be published in the Green Bay Press Gazette on October 8th, 2025 and October 22nd, 2025. Meeting notice was distributed on October 8th, 2025 and October 22nd, 2025 to posting to Bank of Luxembourg Home Office, Luxembourg Post Office, Casco Post Office. We will now go to the budget hearing with Rebecca Goby.
All right, hi everyone. So tonight's agenda regarding the LC proposed budget for 25-26, it will follow along in your booklet as well by the topics. So I have them in the same order. We'll talk about what a revenue limit is, how it's calculated. We'll go through the Fund 10 revenues and expenditures, and that's our general operations. We'll do Special Education Fund 27 expenses and revenues. We'll talk about where the fund balance is currently, and then review the non-referendum debt and referendum debt, as well as food service, Fund 50 this year, so that one's a little bit different, added on this year, and then the community service fund. So what is the revenue limit? So revenue limits were imposed on school districts in the 1993 to 94 school year. And what that was a cap on funding for what we can spend using only state aid, and it was through only state aid and property taxes. And how you were put into that formula was based on your spending at that time. And LC was a very conservative district in their spending, and so we were on the lower end of the revenue per member limit, and so we still continue to be there because they haven't changed how that works. So you can see our revenue limit is $23,092,000 for 25-26 predicting, and you see the two larger portions are the state aid again and the property taxes. There was a slight increase in the property taxes, and then our equalization aid, there was a slight decrease in that. And then the small green area is the other part of the cap in the revenue limit, because you have your Fund 10 general fund and Fund 38 the non-referendum debt, and then 41, which we do not have, it's an expansion fund. That makes up that portion is the Fund 38 as well as personal property aid. So that's the difference in that small little green portion. So how is revenue limit calculated? And this is kind of the basics of the formula. It is using the district membership, and membership is different than enrollment. Membership is not the open enrollment students, so it's your resident students only. Those open enrollment students are taken out, and then they're in FTE, so the 5K are at 60%. So times the per pupil, and 325 is the per pupil currently. That's the one that Evers put in 400 years, right? I believe line item veto for 400 years, so that 325 is still in there, and then plus a year, and then after that it's gone. Other non-recurring are the energy efficiency funds that we have, so the utility savings that we get, and then the voucher program. Those are some examples of those that are built into this. So as I stated, membership and enrollment are two different things. So enrollment is the students in the seats. So this is that third Friday count, how many students are physically here. So we're now at 2,044. So that is an increase of 18 students from last school year. So that's really great. This includes then your residents, it includes open enrollment, and then it includes the virtual kids, because we do have quite a few kids that do the Keel virtual program. So that's all of those students combined. Membership, again, is just the residents. So it's that 2,044, and we take out the open enrollment kids, and then we do add in resident students that open enroll out. So we get to count them in our membership for the pupil, for the revenue limit sheet. So we are actually up by 8 students by that membership to 1,770. But the revenue limit is a 3-year rolling average. So as you see, the last 3 years, we had a decline, but then it stayed even. So our 3-year rolling average only has 1/3 that is increased. So we still receive a declining enrollment exemption from that decrease, but it's not as large because now we've had one increase, and if it continues to increase, that declining enrollment exemption goes away. And so then open enrollment. This year we have 315 coming in, so it's an increase of 10 students. And then 68 going out, so 2 less going out, which is really good. And if you can see by the graph, we continue to see rising numbers in open enrollment in. And we kind of stay steady with the out, which I don't think is really a bad thing then, so at least we're not losing more going out. The transfer dollar amount per pupil that goes with the student, because that's how open enrollment works, for general ed students, it's the $10,102, and that actually increased by $1,100 last school year. And then this year for special ed, it's $14,454, and it increased $640. And I know the next biennial part is increased even more, so it keeps going up. So equalization aid. So as I stated, there was the 2 parts, property taxes, we have the equalization aid, or part of the revenue limit formula. And equalization aid is based on 3 major factors: your property values, enrollment numbers, and then spending. And it's our spending, but it's the surrounding school spending as well. Now, another important factor that happened this year that caused our district to lose $698,000 in aid was, yes, less spending, but also $350 million of that aid was redistributed to voucher schools. And the state did not put any new money in to that funding. And that's the first time since 2009-11 biennial that they did not give any increase into aid. So there was a lot of factors that played into it. And I know you kind of indicated something with Milwaukee School and some referendum stuff too that might have pulled from that pot. So 71% of schools in state lost aid. So we were not the only ones. That pot's just gotten smaller.
Milwaukee had it in a referendum. So the pot is stagnant. I mean, it's a set pot,
Yep.
and all the districts draw off of it, and it's based on spending. Milwaukee did a big operational referendum, so they're spending an awful lot more than they had in the previous
Yep,
years.
and then they'll get more
So
aid.
they're going to get more aid.
Yeah, so I was fathomed by that number, 71%, and they've really been talking about it because that's the largest they've seen, that many schools drop. All right, so the total tax levy proposal for 25-26 is $13,017,909, and that is made up in 4 separate parts, which equals your total tax levy, is the Fund 10, 30 and 41, which is that revenue limit tax levy that I brought up in the beginning, and then your referendum approved debt, Fund 39, and prior levy chargeback, which we do not have, and then your community tax levy, that Fund 80. So all of those together equal the total tax, and then I have it broken out on the right-hand side what each of those portions are. All right, so property values. So I have stated they not only affect your revenue limit, but they also affect equalization aid, and they play a part in what the mill rate will be. So it increased this year by 9.08%. We continue to see rising property values go up, but I look at the positive side of it's less than how high it's going. I mean, so it was at 22 and then it was 9.89, now we're at 9.08. You know, I don't know how the future is looking, but that's where we are right now. I did find out that 1%, approximate 1% is new construction out of that 9.08, and the rest of it's inflationary growth. All right, so mill rate. Proposal is $6.62 per 1,000. And how the mill rate is calculated is that total school levy that I showed, divided by your equalized property value, and then times 1,000 equals the mill rate. So on a $100,000 home, you would be paying $662. So this is an 11-cent increase from the mill rate last year. Last year was $6.51, so now we're showing just $6.62. Now, when we did the referendum, we had proposed a 31-cent increase, and last year we went down 15 cents. This year up 11, so we're still under the 31 cents that we have predicted for the taxpayers. And then I always like to show where other districts are at, and this is proposed. Some of them I know we're having meetings this week, some of them already passed last week. We're now on the bottom 3. Last year we were on the bottom 2, so just shifted up 1, but it just shows that we still overall in the surrounding area are still on that lower end for the mill rate. All right, so general fund 10 revenues, this is our general operations, and we like to do a balanced budget. So the revenues and expenses are both going to be this $27,664,000. And the revenues is compiled of 2 major pots, which is that state aid that we brought up earlier, and then property taxes. So that actually makes up, I think it was 88.86% of our budget is those 2 pots. The other orange colored one is interdistrict payments, and that's our open enrollment money coming in. The expenditures at the same dollar amount, the 27 million, 66.84% is salaries and expenses. The other portion, at 14.21% is interdistrict, or it's purchase services, so that's gonna be like our professional development, software programs, it could be contracts, lawyer costs, things like that, all get piled into that pot. And then the 9.48% one, it's operating transfers, and that is our Fund 27 one, and Fund 50 is in there now, so then we'll get to the Fund 50 of that portion. So Special Education Fund 27, $4,365,000 or $628 for revenue. Fund 27 has to have a balanced budget. They cannot have a fund balance. And so we have to, Fund 10 has to transfer in to cover any costs that they can't get. So the majority of the money that they get for revenue is really from us, from Fund 10 is 2.5 million is the fund transfer that has to go in. And then categorical aid, that was one thing that was in the budget that was helpful. Last year, the state aid reimbursement for Fund 27 aidable expenses was, they said 33, we probably got a little over 30%. This year it's supposed to be 42, but a lot of the districts and myself, we're budgeting at 40% to be safe, because it's a prorated amount, so we know we're not going to get the entire thing. So that did help her budget a lot, though, that it's not, the transfer actually is not much higher than last year because of that aid coming in lowered it. And expenditures, like I said, balanced budget, and theirs is pretty much salaries and benefits. There's a small portion, 5.86%, that goes to those private schools for some students that we have going there. That's really the main pots that are in there. Now, overall, when you include these salaries and benefits with Fund 10, it's about an 80% budget. And I know we've kind of always indicated that's really the major part of the budget. 80% is salaries and benefits when it comes from both of those areas. All right, so fund balance. Fund balance is your cash and receivables, and minus any liabilities that you have is your fund balance. The percent, how it's figured out, is based off the current year expenditures. So how we ended 24-25, we're showing a 30.44% fund balance, and our policy states 25 to 30, so we're above, which is wonderful. I mean, we hope we continue to kind of keep building that up, but if you see, 2 million was put in. But 1.3 of that million is for the third year of the referendum where we're going to be short. So that money is actually invested. right now, it's still considered part of that fund balance, but it's at a place getting some interest back for us for a couple of years. So be mindful that will be coming back out. Fund 38 is non-referendum debt, and that is the energy efficiency projects. And Honeywell is done, so that was kind of cool having that off the books. We finished paying that off in March of '25, so now we just have the Nexus one that was started of $8 million left to pay off of that. Final payment is not till March of '37. Fund 39 is our capital referendum debt, and there's 3 separate bonds. Even though there was the 2 questions, they did it, I know it different, they split up one of the bonds, did it like from a conversion taxable to non-taxable conversion, and it helped save the district some money. So, but we owe $25.9 million currently on the referendum debt. And then Fund 50, and this might be hard to see, so it is on page 38. Fund 50 is a self-funding program. So any federal money she received, that fund receives, federal, state, and paid meals really pays almost above usually the expenses. And so we had a fund balance in there beginning last school year at $236,000. But with the rising food expenses, it actually took out $161,000 last school year. So it brought down that fund balance to $75,000 left, and the food pricing is still not going down. We were told that we're seeing about 40% increase in the food cost. And so then you include your salaries and benefits, and it's just, and I felt it was important to bring this up, just knowing that there's going to obviously probably be talk about, we're gonna have to increase meal prices again, because I don't know how much we're gonna wanna keep funding that. So right now we're doing a fund transfer from 10 and for $75,000, and that's the first time since I've been to this district that we've had to do that. And that's a proposal, so you never know with what she's buying, if she's, you know, maybe things will get lower, we don't know, but this is the proposal right now. Oops. And then Fund 80, the Community Service Fund. That levy is, we're proposing $300,000. We increased it just a little bit. And it actually only affected the mill rate by a penny. So it didn't do much. But the police liaison with the county contract, I believe their increase this year was about $3.5, maybe something like that.
Yeah.
So that continues to increase, and we do have a fund balance in there, but it's been dwindling down. And so we said, let's just do a little small increase in the levy to accommodate that, so we're not withdrawing it so fast, so that we can maintain that budget. Does anyone have any questions? Alright.
I don't need a motion, I'm just adjourning this thing. All right, we will adjourn the budget hearing portion. And then we need to select a chairperson for the annual meeting. Do I hear any nominations?
I nominate Alex.
Yes, I figured. All right. First and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and we'll call the annual meeting to order. Okay, need a motion to adopt a resolution to authorize the school board to levy tax A for the operation of the school district for 25-26. Suggest the resolution be it resolved by the electors of the Luxemburg-Casco School District to authorize a tax levy of $13,017,909 to operate the school district of Luxemburg-Casco, Kewaunee County in the state of Wisconsin for the 2025-2026 school year as presented, all being in accordance with section 120.10 Section 8, Wisconsin statutes. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
I have a motion with a second.
I'll second it.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, section B, motion to adopt a resolution to borrow money as needed to meet the immediate expenses of operating and maintaining public instruction in the school district during the current school year. And suggested resolution, be it resolved by the electors of the Luxemburg-Casco School District to authorize the borrowing money as needed to meet the immediate expense of operating and maintaining public instruction in the school district during the current school year. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
I'll second.
Jenny can
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion to adopt this resolution to set the salaries of school board members. Current salaries, $2,750 president, treasurer, clerk, and $2,500 vice president and at-large members. Be resolved by the electors of the Luxemburg-Casco School District to authorize the following salaries be adopted for the members of the Board of Education. $2,750 for the president, treasurer, and clerk, and $2,500 for the vice president and other board members, all being in accordance with provisions of section 120.104 Wisconsin statute. Do I have a motion?
I'll motion.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion to adopt a resolution to reimburse school board members for actual and necessary expenses for travel in the performance of duties. Be it resolved by the electors of the Luxemburg-Casco School District to authorize the reimbursement of school board members for actual and necessary expenses for travel in the performance of duties. Have a motion.
So moved.
Second?
I'll second.
You got it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, part E, motion to adopt a resolution to authorize the school board to hire attorneys and pay necessary legal fees. Be it resolved by the electors of the Luxemburg-Casco School District to authorize the hiring of attorneys and pay necessary legal fees. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, F, I'm just gonna read the bold now, 'cause I'm sick of reading. Be it resolved by the electors of the Luxemburg-Casco School District to authorize the school board to furnish textbooks. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. G, be it resolved by the electors of the Luxemburg-Casco School District to authorize the school board to furnish school lunches to pupils of the school district and appropriate funds for that purpose. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
I'll second.
I was waiting for someone to chip in. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Right. Be it resolved by the electors of the Luxemburg-Casco School District to hold an annual meeting on October 26, 2026 at 7 p.m. in accordance with section 120.08 Wisconsin statute. Need a motion?
So moved.
Second.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Do we have any other new business to discuss? I need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. And that concludes tonight's business.
Just for us.
Okay, so now we're going to have a special board meeting to adopt the levy.
Do you wanna move stuff? We don't.
I don't think we have to.
Okay, good. Looks to me. Just turn around. Yeah.
Yeah, or we can. All right, I'd like to call the special board meeting to order. Board members are present, except for Robin Richard and Linda John, who are excused. And administrative staff, Joe Ellen and Rebecca are present. All the rest are excused. Stand for the pledge. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This meeting was submitted to the Green Bay Press Gazette on Monday, October 22nd, 2025. Meeting notice was distributed on Wednesday, October 22nd, 2025. Posting to Bank of Luxembourg Home Office, Luxembourg Post Office, and Casco Post Office. Our mission statement: we inspire minds, challenge students, and promote excellence. We are Spartans. I need a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, discuss and approve the 2025-2026 budgets. Yeah, that's one.
It's on the first page.
That's everything that we just went on through
Right.
at the annual.
Right.
So I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
Second.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, discuss and approve the 25-26 total tax levy. Good.
Total levy? Is that
Yeah.
Yeah, 13.
It's on item number 2.
It's on here.
Oh, it's in there, yeah. Who's that one?
It's on the front page of that one, yeah.
Let's do that. Do I have a motion to approve the fund levy of $15,017,909? For,
Keep
well,
reading.
that's, yeah, including the
Keep
maximum
going.
allowable fund 10 general levy of $10,233,749. Fund 38 non-referendum approved debt of $557,200. Fund 39 referendum approved debt of $1,926,960. And Fund 80 community, it must be community service, of $300,000. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
I'll second.
Any discussion?
I want to move just for the sake of having something big vote
No discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Do we have?
Anything for closed session?
Nothing proposed? All right, need a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
That's it.
Are you on busy?
John,
Your
your
motion.
Yeah.